news for Democrats looking for a fresh outsider face in 28. Kamala won't be cackling into the night. The Veep is keeping her political options open, telling advisors that she's staying in the fight. And what fight is that, you ask? Well, she may take another swing at the presidency in 28. Maybe she'll go on Joe Rogan this time, or maybe she could make a run for California governor, which could be good news for its current occupant, the Sultan of Slick, Gavin Newsom. He's already elbowing his way into the 2028 spotlight by touring red counties in California and pretending to play nice with Trump voters.
It's not about voters. I care about people. I don't care who you voted for. I care about people. I care about Trump supporters. I care about RFK Jr. supporters. I care about all people. I care about the people living here in the Sierra, folks down in San Diego where I just was, or in my backyard in Fair Oaks, California. I care about people, and I care about protecting them, their public safety, and their public health. And I care about being honest with them as well.
I think the message is, Dana, that he cares about people.
Did you get that?
I think so.
Let's read back the tape and see if he said he cares about people. However, I will say, I think he's a much more compelling character and politician than Kamala Harris ever was. And add up all of the good moments that she had, and it wasn't as good as that one moment that he just had. I do think that it shows, however, that one of the most effective things that the Trump campaign did is say, Kamala wants to make America like California. So I'm not exactly sure if he can divorce himself from the policy consequences of what California is. We're talking climate. We're talking just the whole thing about minimum wage and how all the fast food workers now basically force all of these companies to close. I think that this morning when I read that this is in Mark Halperin's newsletter, he said that there are Democrats telling him that there's going to be a clamoring and a hunger for people to hear from Kamala Harris. I'm like, really? Because I pay a lot of attention to this, and I have not heard anybody saying they are desperate to hear from her. And what I believe it shows is what we said in the A block, which is a nice tie-in, as we try to do on this show, which is that the bench is empty, it is a shallow pool, and it's very unimaginative. So what did Trump do? Trump changed the imagination. He changed the story, there's no reason the Democrats couldn't do the same. I just don't know if they can do it with somebody who already has, one, the policy consequences, or the final loss. My last point on this is, imagine if you're one of these people who kept giving $25, $50, $150 to Kamala Harris, who raised $1 billion and spent it all and blew it in 107 days. You think you want to hear from her? I would like a refund, ma'am.
Judge Shaneen, I don't see hunger for Harris nationally. Is there hunger for Harris maybe in California?
I don't think there's hunger for the woman anywhere. I honestly, and by the way, I can't imagine she knows what her next move is, because all of her moves have been decided by other people. You know, you'd be good as this, and, I'll make you vice president, and we'll let you run for president. I mean, she never had a role in any of it. You know, she just gets moved up, if you call it up. The woman can't make a decision, or if she makes a decision, it's the wrong one. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she stands for. She is a nightmare. And for anyone to think she's got a future, I mean, I can't imagine. This woman, if she thinks 2028 belongs to her and to run for president, the woman is really more clueless than I thought. But, I just think the Democrats, all in all, they have to start from scratch, okay? Gavin Newsom can say he's a guy for everybody because California moved to the right and he's not stupid. Okay, but at the same time, the Democrats are the ones who brought us open borders. They were focused on men playing in women's sports, transgender rights, cashless bail, making it impossible for us to afford to buy food, making it tough for our kids in school, making it tough for us economically because we're paying for people who, don't belong here, haven't been born here, but just feel like they want to live off the fat of the land, and in the end, the only thing this woman stands for is chaos, crime, and climate change. So forget about her. I think it's all over for her.
I love that phrase, living off the fat of the land. Just so delicious.
So bonanza.
Yeah.
So like Haas should say.
I love that.
Brian, that clash between Kamala and Newsom, who do you think would have the upper hand if they both ran in 28 for the presidency?
Well, I think that she's probably going to run for governor. I don't see another bigger name except Steve Hilton. I want Steve Hilton to get in on the Republican side. And I think
That's a great idea.
Right, and I think that he should think about it. Lee Zeldin showed everybody what you could do in a blue state. He got within 4 or 5 points. Trump picked up more time again. Did you also notice that what's happening in the whole country is sick of being trapped in blue states? In the central part of California, when I was living out there, we did the thing dividing California. Used to be north and south. Now the middle's all rural. They want out.
Yeah.
Illinois, in the middle, they want out. In Oregon, they want to be part of Idaho. Upstate New York, if you travel up there, they want out. And in Long Island, they feel trapped because of the city. They want out.
And because of the traffic.
Right. And because of the traffic. They'll deal with the traffic if they can get the people to represent them. So I just think there's something going on here. And the clue is Fetterman. If success leaves clues, it's Fetterman. And although he can't run for president, he wears a hoodie and he's not really, I don't think he's presidential material. I think that Shapiro should just say, enough waiting on the sideline, waiting my turn. Start speaking out and taking the lead if that's something you want to do. I would love to see a Democrat go center-left and run against somebody center-right. And then in the middle, when you lose an election, it's not like you lost the whole country. The left feels like they lost the whole country because they run on the extremes. Joe Manchin was in the middle, and they told him to go get another job. They wanted nothing to do with him. And I would just like to bring up one more thing. You did 3 C's to describe what you didn't like about the Democrats. Did you write that down, or did that come out of your head?
That comes out of my head.
That is incredible.
It's
That
like
is fantastic.
liars, leakers, and liberals. It's like,
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And by the way, Al Gore should have said I'm running again. John Kerry should have said I'm running again. She should not say I'm running again. They were a lot closer.
Yeah. What do you say?
So I think a couple of things, and I agree largely with what's been said. Donald Trump, I've read stuff from members of my party and listened to them on networks, including our own, suggesting that just a few different things in this race would have been different. We shouldn't think that this was some kind of mandate for President Trump. Message alert, you're wrong. The party, we have to stand back and recognize a couple of things. First, Donald Trump made gains with every Democratic constituency, almost everyone, blacks, Hispanics, Asian Americans, young voters. In fact, he made more gains with them than he did with white voters who don't have a college degree. Now, that's a realignment. Donald Trump did something amazing in 2024, just a few weeks ago. He killed, in a political way, both the traditional Democratic Party and the traditional Republican Party. The good thing for the Republican Party is they got to figure out if they want to build around him for the next 10, 20 years. Democrats, anybody looking at running, and I'm listening to Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris and others, you should take 6 months and travel and listen and take out a notepad and try to figure out what are the traditional values that Americans want in their homes, their schools, their neighborhoods. I'll give you a hint. They want in their home for government to stay out of it. They want in their schools for their kids to be protected and little boys not to play with little girls in their bathrooms and in their sports. And they want kids to be educated. They also want probably a little school choice. In their neighborhoods, Judge, you said, well, they want public safety. They want crime addressed. You have to listen to people and understand that just because they're black doesn't mean they fit in one box. Just because they're Hispanic doesn't mean they fit in a certain box. Just because they're white and live in a certain neighborhood doesn't mean they fit in a certain box. I love Brian Killen, but I differ a bit. I don't want anybody succeeding from a state. Austin should not succeed from Texas. Memphis should not succeed from Tennessee. We should figure out ways to work together, listen to one another. When an election happens, let the winner win, and let's figure out how we make progress for the country. But Democrats, we need to be in the business in the next 6 months of listening.
I'm not saying they should leave. I'm saying
I know
that's
you
their
were.
frustration,
Yeah.
but I would just say this. Gavin Newsom, to his credit, said, I felt like I was in a bubble. I would be in a blue bus, and I'd get out to a bunch of Democrats, and I'd speak to a bunch of converted, and I get back on the bus, and I thought to myself, I don't know if I'm getting through to anybody. And he was right. He was in a bubble.
How do you think I feel?
You're not in a bubble. You're fully exposed, right?
Bubble boy.
You're just the opposite.
He's running, everybody. I think he's running. Not ruling it out, let's put it that way. Up next, the anti-Trump resistance is already sputtering out as Americans fall in love with the Trump transition.